Hello, friends. I am Chevy. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. Everything here is pretty good. I think this week you're going to get to see... You're definitely going to get to see the project. I think I mentioned that the other day. I don't think this is going to work, though. This sucks. I bought screws at the local store because I didn't like the ones that came with the stuff. But these screws are probably galvanized or something. They're coated, and I don't like the look of them. I was hoping to get a stainless screw, and I think these are just not going to be the same. I need to test it. Anyway, not the point of the show. I mean, it kind of is. Yesterday, I woke up, and it was 55 degrees in my house, which is not a great thing to wake up to. And I think I've talked about this before. I'm pretty sure I talked about it the last time it happened. So I feel like it hasn't been a super long time. But I had a sneaking suspicion. I knew what the problem was. I came downstairs. I opened up the furnace. I verified what the problem was. And cool. I remembered that the last time this happened, I was able to find a part locally. And so I took my kid to school and then went and got the part and fixed the furnace. Which is cool. Like, great. But here's the thing. My furnace is some off-brand. When this house was built, everything in here is some weird generic. Like my garage door opener is a weird generic brand garage door opener. It works fine, except that there are no universal remotes that work with it. It uses its own proprietary garage door opening system. So if I wanted to put a keypad outside or give my kids a thing, I have to find their things, which are not easy to find. My furnace is not a normal, name brand, Linux, whatever. It's just some furnace. And so finding parts for these things is difficult. And when I was a kid, we had a hardware store called Thompson's. I can remember it very vividly. It's set behind McDonald's, where our McDonald's is. It was like one of those long, narrow buildings. And Thompson's had all of the things. You could go in there and be like, I need a part for this, and they'd go, cool. They'd look it up. Do you remember like going to, I think there's still an auto store in town that has the like paper catalogs, but I can remember going in there and they'd have the paper catalogs, and it'd be like, all right, I need to find a part for a Linux heater. I'd open the Linux book, and and there we go. I got a part number. They'd look it up. They go, oh yeah, we have a thing in stock, and that was a very common thing. That doesn't exist anymore. We have the internet now, which, trust me, I'm not saying that the paper book is the better way, but the internet is a great way to look up parts like that. The problem is finding them, right? You can find the part, but then you can find the part number, but then you have to find the part, because there aren't these little isolated stores of inventory anymore. Everything is just in time, so like people aren't carrying inventory like they used to. Like going to a place and saying, I need this part, they go, well, I can order it for you to be here in 2 days. When it's a furnace, I don't really have that option. It's 20 degrees at night. I need warmth. Thankfully, so to let you know what happened, and if this might happen to you if you live in a place where their furnaces are a regular thing, most modern furnaces have what's called a hot surface igniter, HSI. There's a couple different variations of a hot surface igniter. And they're basically, think of them like, the little spiral stovetop. That's all it is. It just heats up, and then when the gas turns on, it ignites the gas. And they are a consumable part. They will fail. They're silicon nitride or something like that. They will fail over time. They're intended to. Like they're not a permanent solution. They do that because, unlike your stove, they don't take minutes and minutes and minutes to glow. They come on pretty instantaneously. Turn that thing on, bam, they get super duper hot. Gas flows across, ignites. So if you wake up and your furnace isn't working, pretty good chance it's the hot start igniter. Take the cover off my furnace. I look. I reset the board because there's flashing lights. Uh, and you just observe. Furnace kicks on, cycles, whatever. I hear I there's no glow from the thing. Then the gas turns on, gas turns off. Well, okay, the thing didn't glow. I can see it. I know that's the problem. If the thing does glow, or if the furnace does light, because there are some furnaces that have little piezoelectric like things. You'll hear it go tick 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 tick. My parents has that. Those are still a thing. I think those are old though. Those are not the new. Like the hot surface igniter is the modern way. If the furnace does come on, the gas comes on, the furnace lights, and then it shuts off. Well, then you have a thermocouple that's bad, or they don't use thermocouples anymore. That's an old technology. They just use flame sensors. It's a little probe, a little temperature probe, basically. And the temperature probe isn't working, so you can replace that. Most furnaces also have a little board that tells you, like the blink lights, and it'll have a little thing that says this is what's wrong based on these lights blinking. Anyway, so just keep in mind, you're going to need one of these surface igniters at some point in your furnace's life, and you should probably have one on hand. As should I. But I don't. Thankfully, here in town, we still have a hardware store called Altman's Hardware. I believe it is like one of the, they're not, one of the like nationwide chain, it's, I forget what they're called. There's DIY stores basically that have this brand that is like they carry those parts, but they're not a franchise store. I think it has one of those, and it might just be the DIY store or whatever. But they're still a heating and plumbing and all that sort of stuff service place. So I was able to take my piece there. Thankfully, the two major types of these surface igniters are fairly universal. And the guy was able to find me a suitable replacement. Is it the correct one? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Does it get hot when you put 110 volts to it? Cool. We'll put it in. As long as it can go in the hole and I can put a screw in it to hold it in place, fine. He got me one. I came home. It actually fit better than the last one that I bought because I noticed the last one that I bought, I had to drill it out to fit. This one I did not. It just went right in. Cool. So I have a working furnace again. The funny thing was, so the whole point of all of this is, over the weekend, I was thinking I should get a new, like my furnace hasn't died in a while and it's been very cold. I'm going to need one of those stupid igniters soon. I should probably get one. And I looked it up on Amazon and I found I had ordered one a while ago. Thankfully, I did not order it because it's not the correct type. There's, like I said, mine is a long round thing. There are some that make they look like a boxy thing. Mine, that is not what mine is. Mine is a round thing. So I must have ordered one for my parents or somebody because it wouldn't have been right if I'd ordered it. But I didn't order it because I was like, it's fine. Like we're getting close to the end of the season, whatever. And I knew that I have this option that's kind of close to my kid's school. So I just said I'll fix it if it comes to that. And it did come to that. So I have a replacement. I still don't. He only had one in stock. I would have bought two if he'd have had them, but he only had one. And looking them up, I can't buy them directly. I have to find a wholesaler that sells them or a retailer that sells them, and they're not on Amazon. So trying to find one, whatever. I'll get a replacement and have it in stock for the next time this happens. But you should keep an eye out for that sort of stuff. And I really miss those local parts stores. And what I mean, I'm not talking about a store as in like a location where you go to purchase. I mean a parts store as in like a storage place where they have all of the parts, where you can go in and they have it because they've serviced it before and they've kept it in stock. And maybe there are those things. Maybe there's a Union House somewhere that I'm not aware of that has an old parts store where they can look up stuff and grab pieces. I don't know. But thankfully I have a decent hardware store nearby where I can still keep my stuff running. And thankfully I know what I'm doing because I told my team during stand up the other day that I woke up and there was no heat and they were like, "Oh my god, what do you do?" And I was like, "Well, I fixed it." And none of them were aware that their furnaces also have these parts. And if you call a person, I paid $50 for the part. I think if you'd have called a person to come take it, emergency call, whatever, you're going to end up paying like $250, $300, something like that. And it's one screw and a couple of wire nuts, and you're done. Whatever. Is the way of the world, I guess. I'm just I'm from a different era where I fixed my own stuff. Because that's, yeah. Okay, that's my story. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends with wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know sounds smart is trenchant and is an adjective meaning sarcastic, direct and to the point, intelligently analytical, and accurate. Michael's trenchant commentary on American politics and society have made him a popular radio talk show host. Trenchant, T-R-E-N-C-H-A-N-T. I like that. That's a good word. Sarcastic, to the point, intelligent, and analytical. So Sherlock Holmes was trenchant. Never heard that word.